Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. So, unfortunately, I have to start this with a very sad note. A friend of mine, Dylan Clancy, has passed away. Now, Dylan was a huge supporter of the channel and was integral in getting it to where it is now. He invited me to the group Killer Flicks back when I only had like 200 or 300 subscribers. He was extremely supportive. And I met so many great people there, and it's all thanks to him. So, you'll be missed, buddy. It's a damn shame to wake up to such horrible news like I did, but, you know, I don't know what else to say about it. So, Dylan, yeah, I'll miss you, buddy. I don't really know what else to say, but so, somber note. But on a better note, a very exciting note, I'm wearing a Rocko's Modern Life t-shirt for a reason. That is because Nickelodeon made a feature-length Rocko's Modern Life film, and they sold it to Netflix. So soon enough, on Netflix, we will get streaming straight to me the day it's released. Rocko's Modern Life, the film, a feature-length film. They also did an Invader Zim film. I don't know anything about that show, but Rocko's Modern Life is like my favorite cartoon ever. I still watch it to this day, laugh every fucking time. I am over the moon excited about that. All right, so let's get into Mother's Day. So now Mother's Day last year, I did the 1980 Mother's Day. And this year, I am doing the 2010 Darren Lynn Bousman, however you say his name, remake. I don't really feel like this is much of a remake, but you know what is. This is currently streaming on Vudu for free with ads. The ads were a tad annoying, but you know, that's what you get for getting this for free. You have to sit through some ads. So, but it is the full uncut version, and I thought I owned it. Honestly, I didn't even look for it. I couldn't remember if I did. So, as I said, this is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. He is the guy who did Saw 2, 3, 4, Devil's Carnival 1 and 2, Repo the Genetic Opera, Abitur, all sorts. He's had a whole freaking wide array of films. And he's got a whole ton of people that I recognize from previous films that he's worked on. It starts off with Jay LaRose, who is in Saw 4? Is that Saw 4? Yeah. And he's got the bar through his mouth and his arms, and he has to rip them away before the bomb explodes in the classroom. Or he's the guy in Insidious that's like walking in and out of the room, and then he's inside the room. You would recognize him. He was just in Fear the Walking Dead season 3, so I've seen him all over the place. Plus we have Rig in here, who is the main protagonist of Saw 4 as well, the SWAT team guy. Love that guy. We also have Frank Grillo in here. Frank Grillo is a person I'm a big fan of, who didn't really get any recognition until much later in his career. He didn't even become all that popular until he was like 50. So for anyone out there who thinks it's too late for them, they can't do it, Frank Grillo is here to tell you otherwise. This is probably the furthest back I've seen him, and this is only 2010. This is only 9 years ago. I don't think he was doing a whole hell of a lot before this in film. So this was actually probably my first experience with Frank Grillo, which he's great in this movie. We got Shawn Ashmore in here, who I've seen in tons of fucking shit. Jamie King, Deborah Ann Wool from the Marvel Netflix series, and of course Rebecca De Mornay, who plays the mother here. Now, as far as this being like a remake of the 1980s movie, because I did that for Slasher Sunday last year, I was going to do it for Slasher Sunday this year, this movie, but this isn't really a slasher, nor was that, so I didn't want to call this Slasher Sunday when this really isn't a slasher. But I did that one for Slasher Sunday on Mother's Day last year, and I wanted to do this one for Mother's Day this year, so I held off on it a whole fucking year, and here we are, so I get to talk about it. So there is a hurricane coming, and there are these, obviously, spoilers for anyone who isn't familiar, but I will be talking spoilers heavily throughout. So there is a hurricane coming, and these brothers are on the run, and one of them is shot, and they break into this house, which well, technically they're not breaking in their minds because they think this is their mother's house, and they don't know that the mother lost it to foreclosure, and now there is a family living there, and they're having a party down in the basement with a bunch of friends, and they get taken hostage, and chaos ensues. And man, this movie is unflinching, unrelenting, and fucking mean-spirited. It is gory and graphic and just fucking all out nuts at times. I love this movie. I hadn't seen it in a while, and I remember really liking it and being like, I wonder if this will hold up. It really did. There are some gripes for sure. There are some things that I absolutely hate seeing in these kinds of movies that I'll talk about, but outside of those gripes, and they are big gripes, honestly, because they're things that just make you roll your eyes and actually get angry. I actually got angry a couple times because I was like, God, why does that have to be in this movie? This movie would be almost perfect if they just take that shit the fuck out. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about if you watch my channel enough, because there are a couple things that I can't stand. And that's when someone gets a gun on a killer and doesn't just shoot them outright. Yes, I know it's so easy to just say, kill somebody, Jason. Not everyone's like you. Or shit, I don't even know if I would do it. But in movies, we just want to see when they fucking have the killer dead to rights, they have the gun on and pull the fucking trigger. It's so annoying, especially when it happens multiple times. I'm looking at you, Laurie Strode. I'm looking at you. You should have cut Michael's head off in Halloween 1, not Halloween H2O. You should have taken that fucking butcher's knife and just cut right into his throat. Okay, that's pretty graphic for a 17-year-old babysitter. She probably wouldn't do that. But still, after you stabbed him in the fucking chest, after you stabbed him in the neck, after you it's like, okay, enough. Let's get this guy down. Let's fucking kill him already. All right. But yes, that happens in this movie a few times, and it is fucking frustrating to say the least. I like when Sean Asmore's character here, who is a doctor, is brought upstairs, and the guy pulls a gun on him right as he walks through the door because he's unaware that he's being escorted up there to help these people. He has no idea they're there with a gun, and he immediately grabs the gun and uses some kind of like martial arts technique and just like punches the guy, and then is like, run, and they like God. He like instantly reacts. He's awesome. I love that. Something I find funny about this movie is that no matter how bad the wound is, no matter how bad you have been shot, stabbed, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you still have a heartbeat by the time that this thing cuts away and comes back later, like when the movie's doing it, like, 8-9 months later, they're alive. Like, as long as you still have a heartbeat, it doesn't matter how bad your injuries are, you're surviving. I thought that was funny. I was just like, yeah, I don't think some of these people would have survived, but whatever. As long as you're still alive, I guess you're good to go. And so he's trying, oh man, the gunshot wound on the brother who's on the couch is gnarly. I don't think anyone, I don't even think you would survive it initially, let alone later on without proper medical care, because how did he ever even get proper medical care? He didn't. I'm not really sure how he supposedly survived, but when they pull away that thing and his chest has been ripped apart by what apparently is a shotgun wound, I don't know. It looked crazy. And he just puts his hand in it immediately. It's like the size of his full hand. It's crazy. And the guy doesn't even jump. He's in pain throughout, but when he puts it in, he doesn't react. So that felt completely wrong. But still kind of funny. But in order to get him to stop moving around and screaming, he just knocks him out. I thought that was great. I was like, yes, you would absolutely need to do that. Music in this movie is great. I love the music in this movie. I love a lot about this movie, so I'm going to definitely be gushing about it. Rebecca De Mornay is just fantastic. I mean, she obviously, I think, would be best known for The Hand That Rocks the Cradle as Peyton, a fave of mine I did on my podcast there in the Mic of Madness. But she is just perfectly casted for this role. She's so calm and collected and articulate, and she's that villain you love to hate. I think she is fucking perfect for this role. They couldn't have cast anyone better for this role. She's just the perfect person. they take Frank Grillo's hand and they just take this cue ball and they smash the living hell out of it, and his knuckles are like breaking apart and his fucking skin's coming off his hand. Gnarly stuff. They said that they sent like $1,000 to the house. This Rebecca De Mornay, mother's character, and these people, I guess this is just purely off of principle, because she just wants the money back because she doesn't like being lied to, but they're going way, way, way too above and beyond to get back $1,000 when they could easily, and they do, get way more than $1,000 out of the people who are just there. Like, fuck it. Like, it's $1,000. Don't worry about it. Like, where's your safe? We're going to each get credit cards from every one of you. And we're going to fucking, drain your accounts, which they go and do. So $1,000, I don't know. It just, and the fact that she is putting people through such torture and they're still holding the information in. $1,000, I don't think, for all the shit that she does to Frank Grillo, his character here, it's too much. It's like, really, would someone keep a secret for $1,000? They should have made it more money. I think that's a flaw in the movie. It should have been $10,000, $20,000, something that would actually make it, plausible that someone would hold in this information. We find out that it's Jamie King's character, but the fact that Rebecca De Mornay is pushing so hard for them to admit that they're lying, it's unbelievable, because it's $1,000. It's not much money. It really isn't. Maybe to some people that's a lot of money, but to these people who live in this nice house and have this really elaborate freaking like pool room downstairs, and they clearly all have decent money, $1,000 to them is nothing. So to lie to that extent and let a person's head get set on fire and all this shit, I'm like, $1,000? Fuck, dude, I wouldn't I would let you have $1,000 for very little. As soon as you pulled a gun on me, $1,000. As soon as you pulled a gun on me, I'd pretty much give you anything outside of like my kids. Who the hell wants to die? You can't take anything when you're dead. All right. And the pushy chicks at the ATM, of course I don't want them to die. Do I think they deserve a death? Absolutely not. But chicks like this, anybody like this, I don't want to say women, men, women, whoever, but I have encountered more women like this, especially this age group, these young party chicks who are out and they just think that they are it. They think they are, you know, the center of the fucking entire universe. And they're sitting there like, oh, can we hurry up? And we need to get to our party. And they're just relentless. And it seems over the top in the movie, but I have actually encountered people like this that are so self-absorbed that they don't even know anything in the world exists but them, and anything that doesn't exist that they're not interested in, that can't make them happy or excited or whatever, is just, you know, something that's in the way, something that needs to be removed from their life because they can't even right now. It's, oh my God. So these chicks, no, as I said, they don't deserve to die, and they do not deserve anywhere near the horrendous shit that happens to them. Holy shit, is that scene gut-wrenching. He brings them over, so there's these girls come up behind him. For someone who hasn't seen the movie, some people do watch this without having seen the movie. These girls come up behind him when Jamie King's character is being forced to put all the different ATM cards in there and take all the money out that she can. And these young party girls, who are in a hurricane, by the way. These girls are in a fucking hurricane. Where are they going right now? Why do they need to go to an ATM at night when there's a fucking hurricane coming to the area? All the cops are out pushing people back into their houses. Where are they going with this money? What do they need money so bad for that they're dressed up to party? I could understand if they were just on the fucking lam. They were out there running around trying to get you know, supplies together so that they could get out of town. These girls are dressed up, ready to go. You can tell they're not there like, oh my God, you need to hurry up because there's a storm coming, which would have been believable. That could have been easily written, like some bitchy girls behind them being like, you know, there's a storm coming, right? I need to get some money out because I need to fucking buy supplies for this. We get shelter. It doesn't matter. It just seemed ridiculous that these girls. All right, I'm harping on this too long. But he makes them go over after Jamie King says he has a gun. He goes and he grabs the two girls and he puts them on their knees and throws them down a knife and says, I'm going to give you 20 seconds or something. And one of you's got to kill the other one or I'm killing both of you. That scene is so fucked up. I've seen this happen in plenty of films, but this is one of the worst. One of the best, but one of the worst. That sequence is terrible because the girl fucking, like, when 2 gets there, I think it's like 2 or 3 gets there, she picks up the knife and her friend's like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you out of your mind? And the girl, like, drops the knife last second, like, oh my God, I can't do it. And of course the other girl who was calling her crazy picks up the knife last second, and just the way she stabs it into her, it's so half-hearted, which, not only is kind of a terrible pun because it really does kind of go into her heart, but also because it's true. It's like how it would play out. Like, she doesn't want to do it at all, but she wants to live. So she just grabs it and it's just like this total betrayal. But like, oh, it's so the way it happens, just the way she just lazily grabs it and just sticks it into her and is like, I'm so sorry. And she's like stabbing her while being sorry. And you can see it. It's like light stabbing. Like, I don't want to be doing this, but I just, like, I want to live. And there's so much regret and guilt in her. It's a great performance in that moment. And then she gets up and tries to run and the guy shoots her anyway. So they both were going to die no matter what. So it just puts added fuck up. It's just evil. It's just an evil sequence. And it's not the only time it happens in this movie. So I can see this movie being labeled as torture porn. You know how much I hate that fucking description, but I could definitely see that being the case here. But it's great stuff for me anyway. The trash man. So their friend gets shot through the face and it's dumped in the trash can, which is another really brutal scene. And the trash guy who comes and finds her body is the dude who plays Leatherface in the 2003 remake, and in the beginning as well. So that was kind of cool to see him there. And she's alive, which brings great tension to it because the music's intense. She's being rushed and you can hear the ambulance out there. She gets in there. She's having, the surgeons are trying to put her face back together and she's like waking up and writing on the board what's happening in there, and the wound in her face is gnarly, and all of the scenes that are kind of connecting because they're cutting back and forth between her surgery and her rushing to the hospital and them out at the ATM and flipping their cars, and then all the people in the house. Like, there's 3 things all going on in different places and they're all super tense and they're all happening with this great music strung along into these like great 3 sequences back to back. It's intense shit, and what adds to why this movie's so damn good. And the son upstairs who's dying wants to lose his virginity, so the guy comes down, the brother comes down and grabs one of the girls, brings her up, and then she is deemed not worthy enough for her son because she's a slut. So they go down and they grab Riggs' wife, and of course he has a big problem with that, so they Rig and the other guy who's the dude in Saw 2 who goes up and is like, fuck this, and he goes and he turns the key and the gun shoots him through the little peephole. They get into a skirmish and they beat the shit out of each other, and Rig finally knocks this guy's ass the fuck out. And he's had his toupee ripped off his head, so he's been embarrassed, and he's cut up on the head from it being torn off, and his face is all smashed in. Man, this movie's fucking brutal. But then she takes the girl up. And what is the other girl? Because she ends up taking a different girl. I can't remember. Yeah, because the husband fought to the death. I can't remember exactly now for some reason why the other girl is the one. But he takes her up, and this scene is so messed up because, mother here in this movie has kept these kids sheltered. She homeschooled them. She turned them into total lunatics. And we find out they're not even hers, which is no surprise because the movie starts off with her stealing a kid. And so she's having this sex scene here with her son. She's forcing this girl to take off. So she comes over, she undresses the girl, and then she goes over and she grabs her hand, puts it on his dick, and then mom starts taking his pants out and pulling his dick out. So his mother is there while he's bleeding out from this shotgun wound in his chest, and she's grabbing his pants and getting his dick out and getting him hard while this girl is like fucking sitting there crying. What a horrible scene. What a great scene. It is messed up. Oh man, good stuff. Oh yeah, so Beth, oh god, Beth gets the gun out of the thing, points it at the guy, doesn't shoot, fucking keeps shooting though. When he grabs the barrel, keeps shooting and his hand is burning. I thought that was a great attention to detail that we rarely see in movies, that the barrel gets so hot from being fired. And then she runs off, and she has the opportunity to kill him a couple times because she grabs something else right after he grabs the gun, and she hits him over the head with it, and then he goes down, and she could have just went over there, grabbed the gun and shot him, bent over there and smashed him on the head while he was out. But she doesn't. She decides to run and hide in the fucking dry cleaning place. Stupid. I'm not saying you deserve to die because you did that, but I don't know what else to say. It's just, when you have this opportunity, please fucking snuff them out. All right. She flips the car over to save the cop, though. So she's willing to kill him and herself to save this cop, but she's not willing to just shoot him right there. It's her fault. Anything else he did from there is her fault because she didn't kill him. Yes, you can think I'm a monster for saying that. I don't give a shit. I've actually had people say that to me. Oh, you're a monster because you think someone not killing someone when they have the chance to stop something horrible is a dick move. Yes, I do. I think it is. You absolutely should put him down for the betterment of everybody. Anyway, they pour boiling hot water into Riggs' ears and his eyes. Like, he gets near blinded from this because he has like no vision almost at all. We see his vision. And it's not like blood sport blindness where it's just the very edges of the screen and then everything in the center of the screen is completely like in focus. That is the most hilarious blind vision I've ever seen in a movie. Watch fucking Bloodsport and look at the blind vision. It's just the edges of the screen are blurry and everything in the center is perfectly in focus. I'm like, you can't see? And he even just closes his eyes so he can fight because he's like, well, I guess my vision isn't good enough. And he's like trying to punch and he's punching over here and the guy's like over here. You can see he's right in front of you. It's the worst. And actually Van Damme's acting there is actually pretty good for Van Damme. He actually is acting blind, and the cameraman and the editor fucked him on that. But in this one, it really is. He can't see shit. It's so blurry, you can't make out almost anything. And he's completely deaf as well. So, dropping my notes here. But I had Van Damme like reflexes to catch it on the drop down. Good thing I have my blurry vision. And then, oh man, Frank Grillo, she burns his kids' pictures in front of him, which is very reminiscent of Saw 3 when freaking dude is made to burn his kids' stuff to get the key to save the judge from the pig vat vomit shit. But what a horrible sequence to watch her burn that stuff in front of him and then sets that chick's head on fire. Whew, man, that's a rough sequence. And then that brother, oh, I love that they team up, grab the brother, start suffocating him, and then just start stabbing him in the chest. Like, all of them are working together. And then the girl grabs the knife and just starts stabbing him in the dick. Hilarious, because he was like humping her on the thing and saying he had the power. Fucking brutal. Love it. And then Rig goes and he grabs the gun because he's going to be the big hero, but he can't see or hear, which is a really dumb move. And one of these moments where you want to roll your eyes, but I really don't know how that would all go. He's pretty disoriented, but he still is trying to be tough and save the day. And he goes upstairs and he ends up shooting his wife. Oh my God. And then someone else shoots him. Horrible sequence. We do find out she does live though, because as I said, in this movie, as long as you're still breathing, when they fade to black, you're going to survive. Beth is pregnant. Jamie King's character is pregnant. She lied about the money because she was going to get away. $1,000, really? It looks like more than $1,000 when she pulls it out, but yeah, I don't know. I think she could have got together $1,000 easily, so I don't really feel like that's a big help. But, you know, every dollar counts, right? When you're trying to leave your cheating husband. Mother being so jealous of the pregnancy, very, very believable. Makes sense for the role, and the way she delivers all those lines I love it. And then, yeah, so they get this huge fight freaking in the kitchen. They're smashing each other. I actually really like this. The action's not shot super well. It's done in that close-up and that frantic cut, like every half of a second. I don't think a scene lasts longer than like 1 second. It's too frantic for my liking, but it is intense. And of course, she knocks her out, leaves her alive. So fucking annoying. And then runs off. She like hits her through she hits her in the head through the glass door for the shower. And then they get into a fight later where she knocks her out and stabs her or something and leaves her again. This girl is I'm sorry, when her kid gets taken at the end, I don't really feel sorry for her. It's terrible, don't get me wrong, but you had so many opportunities to kill this family. But the oldest brother, the one who takes her out to the ATM and everything, his death, holy shit. He gets some nail gun nails to the face from across the room, in which he looks like freaking Pinhead. And then while he's being pinned down by these two girls, has like Ajax or some kind of engine cleaner or something poured down his throat. So he's like, you know, fizzing and coughing up blood. And then a television is smashed onto his face. His death is brutal, man. And then the brother who's bleeding out shoots the doctor after Deborah Ann Wool's character, who he has, you know, tried to talk to and get on his side the entire film. And you can tell she was told that she had a skin condition because she's a really pretty girl and she never wanted any guy to look at her. So she convinced her that she had this horrible skin condition, which she was just taking sugar pills for, which is really fucked up. This whole movie's fucked up. She actually has a liking to him, but he gets shot by the brother who's bleeding out, and he's like, did I do the right thing? I think I did the right thing, right? I don't know how he survived without that doctor, but miracle. Which is a shame because he almost has Lydia on his side, but she ends up staying with mom at the end. And this movie does not have a happy ending. It does not go the way you think it's going to go. You think Lydia is going to turn? She doesn't. You think that, you know, mother's going to go down? She doesn't. You think that, like, all these things, and almost none of them happen. So very unpredictable in that way. You got the girl with the gunshot wound through the face. She lived. You got the girl whose, I think, head was set on fire. She lived. You got the girl who was shot by her husband. She lived. And then Jamie King's character lived here as well. And we find out that the beginning of the movie, when she's stealing a baby, is actually the end of the movie, which I thought was a really cool twist. Really screwed up. I'm not sure how Jamie King's character is walking around so nonchalantly after she's given birth a couple hours ago. Bullshit. So anyway, guys, I think that's all I have to say about this movie. I spoke for way too long. So as I said, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And Dylan, rest in peace, brother. Adios.